online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Sweet Caroline. Okay, we're gonna go with it.
Not so sweet.
I mean, this is kind of bittersweet right now. Anyways, hello everyone, and welcome to the AFTERBUZZ TV Once Upon a Time after show. I am Tiona Hobson. It's season 4, episode 20, titled Lily, and boy, was this an episode. Joining me tonight, I have the very handsome Blake McIver.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
It's great to be here.
And the severely pissed off Marisa Serafini.
Hi, everybody.
Marissa is having a lot of feels with the ending of the episode.
I'm very emotional right now, so
we're gonna give her a chance to get over it. So we're gonna talk about the other parts of the episode before we get into the part that upset her.
I told her she can punch me. I don't bruise easily.
I won't.
Oh wow, you're a better person than me because you're not hitting me.
I do forewarn people if I drop bombs. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Also, if you guys are listening to us on iTunes right now, make sure you check us out on YouTube. And Marissa's manning our live chat right now. I'm sure there's a lot of things happening on there. And the music's back up. Sweet Caroline. Ba, ba, ba. And
nice.
Yeah, so make sure you leave us comments on the YouTube page, on iTunes, rate us, give us 5 stars, like everything we like. And yeah, give us lots of goodies. All right, let's get into tonight's episode. I'm going to start at the beginning. We have a flashback where we see the apprentice after he has done the thing he did to poor little Lily, innocent Lily. He's telling the sorcerer, which is just a blue sort of
orb of powers. I
was expecting a person.
Same here.
Yeah.
But do we think that he is a person and just he wasn't showing his form there?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's the disembodied form.
I think there's a corporeal body somewhere, kind of like the Wizard of Oz has that front, the whole floating head. He's somewhere.
Was this
probably nearby in the next room?
Yeah,
behind the curtain. Don't look behind the curtain.
Was this blue sort of magical stuff in the air? Was anyone else feeling Genie from Aladdin with that? Because he was blue.
Good. Yeah.
And it gave me a very Genie vibe.
That'd be cool.
Pre-Genie. That would be cool.
But Blake, you pointed out the music that they were playing.
Yeah, we had a little Fantasia hidden in the theme, a little Sorcerer's Apprentice, a little theme of the brooms.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
Only Blake's ears hear this stuff. He's like,
I'm just such a music nerd.
Huh. I didn't notice that. Thank you, Blake. Thank you for pointing that out. So in their conversation, we learned that the author has been put into the book where he can only document what's happening. He's not able to...
He can record.
But not change.
Yeah, but not change anyone's fate anymore. And
so is he the author aware of everything that's going on? Say, if someone else writes stories into the book, he knows what's being added.
Gotcha.
I think so, because the book still continued to tell the story even though he's been trapped inside it for all these years. So if he came out of the book where he was able to write stories, did he just not bring the ink with him that he needs, that Rumple's like setting him on this horrible path for some ink?
There's a lot of unanswered questions here with the ink and the book and when can he change it, when can't he change it?
So.
I think it's just whenever he has the ink and magic quill.
The quill at the same time.
Put them two together, and that's when it happens.
So we're thinking he just left his copies of those inside the book when he came out of it.
Yeah, well, he's in jail. in a book prison, so to speak. He doesn't have things with him.
Okay.
He's trapped.
I'll give you that. So tonight we talked a lot about fates and the intertwining of fates. And one of the things that the sorcerer says is that regardless of what was done to Lily, the badness, the darkness being put inside her, that her and Emma's fates will always be entwined. And that's something that they will go their whole lives with. So basically, leave them alone, let it work itself out, and we'll see what comes of it. But just because the darkness was put into Lily doesn't mean that that's all she'll be, is what I took from that. Am I understanding this correctly?
I think that's a pretty accurate assessment.
I think that's pretty on point. I will mention, shout out to Raul Flores. He says, Tiona looks very Ursula Miss Cruella today.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Shout out to my fallen Queens of Darkness.
Yes. Two of my favorites.
So if you're
my
listening
favorites,
on iTunes, definitely check us out on YouTube as well.
Yeah, and you can chat live with us, and Marissa will read your comments. And
Yep.
keep telling me that I'm pretty. I like that.
Yeah.
So then we go back in time again, and now when Lily and Emma are meeting. Emma has got this great family that she's finally paired with.
Foster family.
New foster family. They're going on family vacation. She's never been on a vacation. She's so excited to go, and then boom, Lily shows up. And Emma knows that it can't be good news why she's there. But Emma, being the person she is, she's kind of like, all right, like, yeah, stay for dinner. Yeah, we're friends. And then Lily starts lying about how they met to the foster family. And Emma's like, look, you got to go. I can't have this around me.
And
You're
then we
crazy.
find out she's a fugitive.
Yes.
Yeah, there's always an ulterior motive for Lily.
So I know that we knew that Emma pushed Lily away. She always said that she pushed her away. And knowing now what we know, do you think she was right to push her away?
Well, I think it was sort of a survival tactic. It was like, I have to make the best of this life that I've been handed, so all I know is when you're here, it gets worse. And for Lily, it was just the opposite. When you're here, it gets better. So it's this weird push-pull.
Yeah, I think it's that whole the fates being intertwined, and there's that whole fate balance that's always conflicting against each other.
And I like that from a young age, Lily even said that she feels like she's making the right choices, but then they always turn out to be the worst of the two.
She even says, I feel like I'm cursed.
Yeah.
At that bus stop scene.
That was almost verbatim for what's happening. All this darkness for her.
All this darkness.
And Emma is light. Everything gets brighter.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
Very on point.
It's like they need to figure out how to live in this world together and be cohesive and complement each other. And I don't know. I want it to work out for Lily. I really do.
It was interesting to spend so much time of an episode in a flashback sequence that took place on Earth.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, suddenly the whole episode felt dark because it was like, oh, this is real. Oh, it's just 1999 in Wisconsin. How depressing. Like,
Real world, so Emma says.
Real world.
it was
right
a little
there.
too real.
Yeah. So after Lily we find out that Lily was kicked out of her her adoptive parents' house because, she's just too much badness. So she's been living with her boyfriend who got her into the whole armed robbery thing. It's always a boyfriend that gets you into those things, kids. Stay away from them.
Those bad boys.
Those bad boys.
boys.
They're so easy on the eyes, but they're bad for your heart.
But if you think about it, that happened with Emma too. So,
It did.
Yes, it did.
How different is Lily and Emma really?
Well, there are a lot of parallels.
Yeah, there's lots of them.
There's lots of parallels, but the difference, I think, at least from what we've seen, is that Emma, it usually works out in a better way for Emma.
Yes.
Her getting caught with Neil and going to jail turned out to be the best thing for her, and it got her back on the straight and narrow, and it got her child to safety.
And also, Emma makes the better choices in the end.
And her ends always seem to justify her means, which Lily, it's just the opposite.
Yeah. And that's kind of sad to say, but Lily does get some good news, we learned, because as she's sitting on the bus riding off into who knows where with
Somewhere in the
money
Midwest.
that she's stolen. Yeah, with money that she's stolen from Emma's family. We hear this very familiar voice, and there he is, the apprentice, telling her there's a reason, and I'm responsible for why your life is crappy.
It's not your
basically.
fault.
Partly responsible.
Come on.
Partly.
Yeah, he was though.
He's more than partly responsible because he could have told them no I'm not gonna put the darkness into.
Right. He could have
there was a
refused that
choice.
request.
Yeah. There was a choice, and he chose
Could have
to
been
do
like,
it.
y'all are crazy. Try again.
Try again.
Just be better parents.
Yeah, sorry. No, not happening today. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. But yeah, so he kind of fills her in on everything. I love that she called him Yoda. That's another, you know,
we love a little Star Wars shout out.
And that was one that I actually got because it was very obvious and very in your face.
You know what's it's funny? I loved how they called him Yoda, but I felt more of a Dumbledore kind of feel from him.
Oh, with his beard and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
I don't know. It's like just imparting wisdom onto someone.
Yeah, just guidance.
Yeah.
That's sort of
And
sweet.
I hope that we get to see a little bit more of what happened after that because, I mean, if we flash forward a little bit into present day, we have Regina and Emma working together to go, one, to get Robin, and two, to find Lily because Emma made a deal with Maleficent that she would help her find her daughter. So we have them working together and they're on a quest, and it's like we find out that her address from 5 years ago is 30 miles from where Emma was living 5 years ago in Boston. We find out that when we get there, the landlord or whoever the neighbor is like, oh no, she died in a drunk driving accident, and she was, you know, really dark person. You didn't want to be around her. Her life was not ever on the right path. So, I mean, it's just like one strike after the other, and then they leave there and they're driving, I'm assuming, to New York.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there's a wolf in the middle of the street.
I was like, Graham!
We still don't know what the wolf was.
Yeah, but I like that because I forgot about this. I love that Emma pointed out the same thing happened to me when I tried to leave Storybrooke the first time.
Yeah.
So it's something about, I feel like that wolf thing is cycling back. Marisa has something.
It's her
Maybe
Patronus.
the wolf that we saw tonight is Lily's wolf.
Oh.
It was like Emma has her own wolf, and because that wolf was obviously different. But I think that's Lily's, and it's like those two fates purposely clashing and meeting together. Yeah.
I like that, Marisa.
Maybe.
Very good.
you.
Good mythology, Marissa.
Look at Marisa. That's why we keep you around. You're so smart.
I don't know.
So because of this, Emma ends up with a flat tire. So they have to go get a new tire, and Regina sends Emma off to get some coffee. And it's in the coffee shop that we meet Starla.
Starla. Girl, that name.
Girl, let me tell you. No offense to anyone in the world who's named Starla, but on a TV show, when you meet a Starla, the first thing you think of is the strip club.
And no offense to strippers either, because we love you too. But
your job is hard.
But Starla does not sound like a birth name. If you were trying to hide from someone, you know, like you go with Beth. Go with something like really innocuous.
So flying under the rain.
But I do love
Starla.
Yeah,
Well, the
and
star, yeah, which it makes
obviously.
sense that she went to that.
But
But
Starla.
Yeah,
Really.
Starla. Oh, and I forgot to mention that, you know, Emma had to go steal that necklace.
The
or
moon
not steal it,
necklace.
but take
she
the
could have called
necklace
herself
back.
Luna.
Luna would have been
That would have been a little
That would've been
less
better.
strippery than Starla. I'm Starla. What do you have?
Starla, hi, nice to meet you. Anyways.
But this scene did give me my favorite line of the episode,
Which
is
was?
Regina walking away from the car, going,
Oh my God.
"I'll get a tire, you get some coffee."
Get some coffee. I just gotta say, Regina, like throughout this whole episode tonight, yes, God,
Fierce
yes.
queen,
Yes.
yes.
Amazing.
I love that she is there. She's talking Emma down and off the ledge because everyone knows that. So Emma has already completed like the first task of becoming dark. So she's already done one super dark deed by killing Cruella, R.I.P. Everyone was at her funeral tonight, so that was cute. But you know, she already did the first step into it. So now Gold's really pushing her to get to a next step and keep doing darker deeds until she's fully dark. So I love that Regina is telling her, hey, I've been there. I've been in your shoes. Don't go down this path because getting out of it is hell.
So hard.
So hard to come back from.
It's so hard to come back from. And think about Henry. Think about your parents who Regina's still mad at, or Emma's still mad at. But, you know, think about your family. Think about Hook. Think about all these people who care about you before you make these rash decisions. So, and Starla is, you know, telling Emma, oh, I don't need your help. You pushed me away. I have a daughter and a husband. Like, my life isn't that bad, actually. And then she goes up to a child who just got off of a school bus and bribes
the child with burgers.
Yeah, not with candy or like, I don't know, toys, but with burgers.
Yeah, and
which says something.
Parents.
Yeah, that says something about American children right there.
Okay.
You know what? I'll give you a week free of hamburgers if you take my hand, smile, and walk around the block with me.
Oh, it was so dark. That was dark.
That was scary.
That was one of the scariest things ever. I was like, stranger danger over here, and the girl's
Indeed.
just like, free burgers? Yeah.
Sure. Free burgers?
All right, let's do it. Food. I mean, come
How
on.
hungry is that child? Did they not feed her at the cafeteria at school today?
I don't know, but that was messed up, and it was creepy, and
scary.
I mean, considering what happens in the real world with kids driving off into, strangers' vans for candy and stuff like that. It just that was also a very real moment.
Yes.
We're in our world and it's very real.
Let's hope that was a teachable moment for the younger viewers. Don't talk to strangers, especially if they're children of Maleficent.
Yeah.
So,
but they don't know that.
Yeah, they don't know that.
We did not know that.
Yeah. So then Emma steals Lily's address from her time card at work.
Yes.
Smart.
They go to her house and they're walking through, and then there's this board.
Serial killer wall.
Yes, the serial killer wall of all walls, and it's linking everyone. It's got Storybrooke on there. It's got
The
author, the Charming.
You notice Snow White was crossed out.
Yeah, Snow White and Prince Charming had
big red X's. Like, no, hate them.
The evil queen got circled, though, in a nice little, Renaissance drawing. I was like, oh, when did she look like that? That was cute.
That was cute. There's the picture of Emma from when they were kids.
Yes.
Up there. So she knows everything.
Everything.
Even though Emma just tried to explain everything. And then she steals Emma's car and takes off. And inside the car is the scroll that Regina brought so that they could
have some magic
and get back in. So then they go on a high-speed chase.
Yes.
That was scary.
Indeed.
Emma driving was scary.
Oh.
Emma driving and Regina trying to talk her down while she's driving. She's like, no, because if this was you would do whatever it takes. And so
things are bad when Regina is the one talking someone away from an emotional response to an event.
Yeah.
This is not good.
It's not normal, I'd say.
The queen of emotional responses is the level-headed one.
And I think, no one makes rational decisions when they're emotional.
No,
so
I certainly
we knew that wasn't heading for a pretty ending.
So let's talk about the standoff. We catch up to her. They're fighting. There's what are you gonna do, savior, with no magic? And there's a push, and then there's lightning, and it strikes the car. And I don't know whose magic that was.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know where that came
Emma's,
from.
I would
think
assume.
just literally nature.
I think it's the two of those big powers coming together because
it's
their
Pocahontas status when the Indians and the Native Americans are going up against the English clashing storms.
Yeah,
when they're I love that part. Sorry, it took me there.
Disney,
So there's that big bolt of magic, and then there's Emma pulls a gun on her.
Then there's the Sons of Anarchy sequence.
Yes.
Where suddenly we're not in Once anymore at all.
No.
We're just in a hardcore drama.
But the fact that Emma pulled out a gun, a very muggle type of weapon, very human.
Yes.
It was it got to that darkness, real darkness.
Because Emma realizes that Lily is pissed. She knows everything. She's going after Emma's parents because in Lily's mind, they deserve to be punished for what they did to her. Which, yes, they do. Also, sometimes the punishment that people inflict on themselves is worse than any punishment you could get. Killing the Charmings isn't making them suffer at all.
No.
Making them live with the fact of what they did to you, being out and their daughter, that's a huge punishment. And that's something that Regina realized with Cora's death.
Yes.
Regina took out Snow's heart and was like, oh, actually, you have that darkness there. I don't need to punish you because you're punishing yourself and your heart's turning dark.
You're on the path.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, Regina does her great talking down of Emma, because they cut to that wide shot where we were like across the street and Emma just has the gun and Lily's kneeled down and Regina's right there, and it's like, this is the part in Sons of Anarchy where the gunshot goes and then it goes straight to dark and you're like, what happened? So I'm sitting here holding my breath because I think that's about to happen.
We were all clutching our chairs.
What? And I got to give it to the editing, because even the background music was swelling up to the point, like, literally, like, all the action and climaxing and all that, and just like, what?
And Emma's face was just blank for the longest time until she finally broke.
Okay, so in that moment, though, knowing Once and knowing Emma's character, even though it was so dramatic to watch, was there ever any doubt in your mind that Emma might pull that trigger?
I had a split second where I thought she would.
Well, after watching last week's episode, her pushing Cruella, I was like, Emma is capable of doing this. Mm-hmm. But I think, and also, thank God, Regina was also there simultaneously talking her down. So I was like, when you have someone else talking rationally to you, you have better chances of not doing something that bad.
That's true. I mean, in the back of my mind, I knew that I was crazy, like, oh my gosh, what if she pulls it? But in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's Once. She's not gonna do it. Yeah. Because after last week, I thought that was the act of darkness that was gonna just spiral her and be like, okay, now she's dark because she did that to Cruella. But then learning tonight that there's, I guess, different stages steps of getting there.
It's like Scientology. You kind of have to like work your way up through evil.
Yeah, you have to work your way up to it. So now I'm thinking, okay, there's the chance to still save her. Like, she's clearly, Emma's not going to go dark anymore.
Right, and
that's
also,
just my opinion.
You got to remember, this is Once. It's a very family-related show, so I don't think they were going to show a point-blank type of shot. Especially from your main protagonist.
Just an assassination.
Just boom.
In
I
broad
think that's
daylight.
kind of frowned upon on the show.
Yeah. Well, they get it all worked out. Emma drops the gun. They actually have a pretty good talk afterwards, too. Aftermath recap. And, you know, Lily's like, why didn't you do it? I would have. And Emma's thinking, well, I mean, I would like to think that that you wouldn't have if the tables were turned, because, you know, it would have been me you were shooting.
Bye.
But we don't know for sure. And then Regina gets a call about Belle's heart getting taken. So then it's like, oh, crap, we have to get to Robin Hood.
Because that was her leverage.
Because that was her leverage over Rumple. What does Marisa want to say?
Okay, last after the show, we questioned if Regina returned the heart to Belle. She gave it to Maleficent.
To keep it in the office? How long was she planning on keeping it?
Regina could have kept it in her own chamber of hearts that she has, put protection spells all over it, and no one would have touched it.
Yeah, no one can get into her secret lair, and I'm sure there's some secret door within there that only opens from Regina's blood drops or something that she could have put the heart in.
Regina's so capable of just protecting the heart without her actually really protecting the heart.
Yeah.
I don't get why she had to give it to Maleficent. Maybe to build that relationship where it was like, no, you can trust me because I'm giving you a heart. But I don't think that was necessary.
And especially, like, the spell that she put on it, there was a workaround. Like, she knows that Rumple would get somebody in a heartbeat to do... pun not intended. To do his dirty work for him. So the fact that any old, you know, thief could step in and get it, I kind of call BS on that.
Exactly.
That's how I felt too. But
it's too simple.
It did feel too simple. But I want to backtrack a little bit just to Rumple going to Will and saying, "Hey, Belle's heart has been stolen, and you need to help me get it back."
And he was like, "I'm working on it."
Yeah, that was really cute. I really
Marissa's not having it.
I really like Will's character, and I'm glad they're giving him a little bit more to do right now. But I also feel,
other than making him steal stuff like he normally does.
Well, I'm just saying, because in the first half of the season, he's a series regular who was in maybe 3 episodes for one scene.
Passing out, fun,
passing out.
Running off.
Saying, like, a mate or something and just, like, walking off screen. You know, so I'm like, they're giving him a little bit more, but I still lack with what the development of what his purpose is there.
Well, this is the one storyline thread that I do have a problem with, which is the whole Belle Rumple, because I still am not clear on where Belle sort of fits in her timeline of story, at this point, because this is the one for me that goes against the Disney canon the most. That Rumpelstiltskin is the beast, but we know that in the old canon, it's no, the beast was a prince whose name was Adam, who did a bad thing. So I'm kind of not sure where Belle's at. So now to have an entirely new love interest chapter, it's we're jumping. How far ahead are we?
Yeah. And I want them to show us more of the relationship.
I would love
so that I can know if I like Will and Belle together, or if
we want to judge you, Will.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be over here judging you and stuff. I need to judge your relationship and make sure you're good enough for Belle.
Right? We can't judge you if we can't see you.
But so then Rumple goes and distracts Maleficent, who is standing guard in Regina's office with this heart,
looking fabulous. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, she did look fabulous. But he even says, you think that sending Emma to go find your daughter is going to prevent her from going dark? Those two together would actually, the two people whose paths have been in line since birth, he said something deep and meaningful like that I half listened to. So he's the two people whose paths have been aligned, wouldn't that bring out the worst in her? Which I don't think anyone ever really thought about before sending Emma out into a world without magic and a gun that I thought she had given to Regina last episode.
Well, Emma is a sheriff. She probably has multiple guns.
Mama's packing.
That's true.
That she is.
That she is.
With human weapons, not magical goodness.
Yeah, so then Rumple, they get the heart back, and then he takes it to Belle in his shop. Well, Will takes it to Belle, and Belle doesn't remember. And this was something that we talked about last week, where we were trying to decide if Regina forcefully took the heart or if Belle willingly gave it to her. And Regina told her in the heart, forget any of this happened. So we were trying to figure out if she gave Belle the heart back or if she actually kept it. So we know that she kept it, and we know that Belle doesn't remember any of it. But how do you guys feel on the part of, did Belle willingly give it to her, or did Regina forcefully take it?
I think Belle willingly gave it to her because Regina gave such a great speech to her about the purpose of this was to foil Gold's plan, and I think Belle's really still on that train, even though she has compassion for him. I think she's pretty much anti-Gold winning.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was more both of them just teaming up against Gold, because they all know what Gold's plan is and what he wants. So it's really, like you said, to foil.
So then when Regina comes back in town and Belle confronts her, hey, Beezy, why'd you take my heart? Because I feel like there's going to be... Will seemed pissed off that Regina took her heart. Belle's confused as to why she would do it. So what kind of backlash do you think Belle will believe Regina if Regina's hey, actually, we talked about it, you told me I could have your heart, and then I told you to forget about it?
I think it will be that... because it seemed somewhat resolved a little bit from last episode, but I think that's such a storyline that doesn't really need to be touched on. There are bigger issues going on right now. Lily will be back in the picture, and so I think when they come back into Storybrooke, it'll probably be brushed over.
Okay, I agree with that. Perhaps. All right. I know this is the part when Marissa was dreading us talking about. Is it about
to get so real?
Is it about to get there? Actually, before we get there, I just have to say this part, because Hook and Emma had a really lovely moment.
Yes, they did.
And I would not be Tiona if I didn't shout out the Hookers for life in this moment right here, because Captain Swan was everything.
Well, at least you got a happy ending today.
I know. That's why I'm going to start with my happiness.
Yeah, so, before we go dark.
I'm going to go dark right now.
Right as Emma's leaving town, Hook's just kind of there telling her, remember that I went down the revenge path, and it's not a fun path to go down, and you're not going to be able to get out of it. And Emma's like, well, what got you out of it? And he's like, you've kept me on my path. She's his rock. they're soulmates. I love them so much, and yay, hooker for life. So I had to say that. Sorry.
No, it's warranted.
It's fair.
Yeah, it was.
You get
It
yours.
was real. It happened.
It's very real. It did happen. So then we have to go into New York. And Regina gets to the door. Robin Hood is home alone. Marion is at the store. So Regina barges in. It's like, okay, we have to go. We have to go right now. She's not who she says she is. She's actually Zelena. She, went back in time and killed Marion and all this to get back at me. And Marion walks in and is like, what? No, Robin, what's she talking about? Who, me? And then Robin, like, snaps at Regina, like, Regina, this is reality. I'm with her now. This is it. Like, leave me alone. And you just see Marion in the background behind him going, like, ha, 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 I got him. And then she poofs into...
Pulls out the emerald.
The emerald.
Necklace.
She poofs into Zelena, and I'm gonna let Marissa go.
Defer to
Really
Marissa.
shouldn't.
Marissa, I think you need to just get it off your chest. Just go.
What the hell? Come on, I'm so sorry for all you listeners. What? Like, okay, I can't even think right now.
She's so upset,
Zelena,
guys.
to go this low, to do this to Regina, and Regina is so pissed, and same here, Regina is gonna get it. Oh, she's gonna lay it down like nobody's business.
So,
I can't.
do we believe that she's actually pregnant with Robin's baby, or is this one of those like Hail Marys?
Only because Robin seemed genuinely upset.
He was conflicted.
Knowing that this is now a thing, that Zelena is pregnant. Robin, now he feels bad knowing that, like, oh, I knocked up the wrong chick.
I also want to say he sure did move back into his marriage very fast,
/ new life real quick.
Like, he got comfortable real quick, because last time we saw him he was still struggling with it, and that was supposed to be what, 3 months had passed or something. So we're not really, we're still at like 3 months ago he was in love with Regina
Very
and was
much
going
so.
to stay with her and leave her, and then his wife shows up again and he has to leave town with her.
He makes
and
the sacrifice to like do the more noble thing.
yeah, so I mean, that was just, I'm just saying, like, he must be real fertile.
Well, he's spreading the seeds, not in the right place. He got it with the wrong woman.
It's just, it's so many things.
So many things. I loved Lily's reaction, though, in here, because Lily's still with them.
Right. Lily is like,
What is going on?
Yeah,
What?
she watches Marion turn from Marion into Zelena. Is like, what is that? And it was just like, magic, girl.
that's magic.
That's
You're
magic.
going to have to learn quick.
Yeah, you
I'm
don't
going
have
to give you the
catch
Cliff's
up.
notes of this.
Lily knows magic, but she walked into a Maury episode.
She did. She walked into a Maury episode. My Maury metaphor is still working.
Still goes.
Now there's another one. Now there's a new pregnancy to add to the list.
my gosh.
Oh, good Lord.
So,
Selena's the baby daddy? What? No, not the baby daddy.
mama.
Her baby mama. Oh my God. I cannot.
She can't even think straight because she's so
I can't.
upset.
I really can't.
when I tell you,
Selena, you think she's evil magically, but now she's just like an evil biatch in real life as a human being.
Well,
That's low.
she wanted to get back at her sister.
Oh, well,
and
well, she did.
She wanted to take something that she
That's
loved, and
the
she
worst way.
definitely has. And then you have Robin, who is so prideful, and he gave his word, and like, this is his child, so he's clearly gonna stay with her. But I go back to this default thing: you should never stay together for the children. Yes, she can have your baby. Yes, it's not a great situation, but you know what? You go to court and you get custody of that child and you take that baby away. Ludacris got his baby. You can get yours, Robin Hood. That's all I gotta say.
Mic drop from Tiona.
Doom.
I mean, I hear you. I receive that. Marissa and I received that. No, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, because if he now stays, like, he was deceived. So I understand you don't want to leave your unborn child, but that doesn't mean, like, I can't leave her here.
How
Like,
many- yeah, 'cause
are
how
you
many
going to be
kids-
romantically involved with her still?
But
Right.
I think that just goes with Robin's moral code that he lives by every single day, and today wasn't that. was that day.
It's like his biggest attribute and the sexiest thing about him, and it's also his biggest fault.
Yeah.
Is that he will
Greatest
live
flaw.
and die by that code of honor, and sometimes you gotta drop it because she's bad news.
You've got to bend the rules.
But it's
in
like
extreme
you're in the
circumstances.
real world now, Robin. Like those moral codes applied back to your old time storybook or story life, but you got to change.
These are the streets of Manhattan.
You gotta
to bend the rules.
It is 2015.
I mean, still be a good person, but shoot, your mentality has to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least a little bit. So yeah, that was the big news that Marisa has been holding in all episode about how upset she is. I also wanted to touch on Snow and
so
Charming
upset.
because
Yes.
I'm so... And just Emma, I know we talked about it last week about Emma still being mad at them, and you know she does have a reason to be, and she kind of gave them a real cold blow when she was like saying goodbye to everyone, giving hugs and kisses, and they start to say something. She's just like, "Take care, Henry," and just like, "You're dismissed, mother.
Be gone, Granny and
I
Grandpa.
don't need you."
Ta-ta.
And then they go and they try to apologize to Maleficent about what they did because they like we've been so caught up in Emma's perception of us that we forgot we hurt you and we need to apologize to you. And Maleficent's like, you don't need to apologize to me. You need to apologize to my Lilith because she's the innocent life that you ruined her life before she even had a chance to experience it. Like she's the one who deserves, you know, for you to apologize. And they're like, yes, we will definitely do that. And then Maleficent flips it on and is like, but if I'm not willing to forgive you, what makes you think she will? She's my daughter.
That's very
Clearly, she has the same mentality as her
Right.
mother. She gets traits from her. So why would she forgive you guys either?
Which is a fair question, Maleficent.
Yeah.
It's a fair question.
I loved how tonight's episode, everyone who we think and have been trained is good and we should root for, like all of our main protagonists really, were I don't want to say villains, but the bad ones. And then all of our villains tonight,
Were
Regina, Zelena, or not Zelena,
Not Zelena.
can't. Regina and Maleficent, like they were they were like the good voices of reason tonight.
Yeah, they were.
I was like, all right.
more level-headed ones.
I love this whole twist on the stories. Not with Zelena.
No, not that
And I
one.
think it'll be
Girl,
interesting to find out who Lily's father is, since we still don't know that. Because
Yeah.
okay, like I'm not saying that you are your parents when you grow up, but if say Lily had been able to stay with her mother and had been able to, you know, have both goodness and the evil in her, and none of the evilness was just thrust upon her. Even growing up in a household with her mother who was evil before she even got pregnant, do you think Maleficent would have magically changed and been like this nice person who raised her daughter up nice? Or would she have been still the evil Maleficent who also had a daughter who was watching evilness all the time and then kind of be that person too?
Yeah, this goes back to a timeline question, because it's like when in Maleficent's timeline did this daughter come?
Yeah.
How long pre-Aurora is that?
Right, and have we really even seen Maleficent in the whole show once really do anything evil against other people? Because I think the first time we really got introduced to Maleficent, Regina was doing wrong against
true.
her and
And
used
they were
her
just battling.
and stole the dark curse. So I was like, have we actually seen Maleficent do any wrongdoing against anybody in the show?
I don't think we've seen it. We've heard of it because we've seen Aurora and Philip and know that whole thing.
Yeah, when did they
But-
get their apology?
Yeah,
Well, when they actually come back.
yeah, maybe. How's their baby?
Right?
How's your baby?
How's that
your baby?
relationship going?
Mulan's still mad about it.
Yeah, is Mulan still like lusting over you, Aurora? I don't know.
Oh, I need these questions answered.
These are the things that
Milan's
keep
busy
Tiona up
being
at
a
night.
resident advisor right now.
Yeah. So I think it'll be interesting, and I hope that we do find out more about Lily and who her father is, because it would have been interesting to see if her father was good versus her mom who was evil, and then she does have those two paths to kind of figure out, or if he was also a bad guy who got her pregnant and then it's
Right.
just like two evil parents. Does that two negatives equal a positive? Does it equal the same? Like, I don't know. The odds were never stacked in Lily's favor, in my opinion.
No.
Even before all the darkness was just put into her.
Right.
So that's just me.
It wasn't going to be a cute life when your mom's Maleficent.
Right? Like
you
when
know.
everyone
Yeah.
in a whole place hates your mother because she like dragoned and burned down a whole field and like people's homes and stuff, no one's gonna like you. It's
That's
gonna
how
be
Tori
hard.
Spelling must feel.
It's a hard life.
Nobody likes her mom.
That's very true.
That's sad. But if Maleficent had, or well, not Maleficent, if Lily did have a good father, there could be good hope for her.
It's true.
Yeah.
We don't know how dark and or light her heart is at this point. Someone needs to pull it out and see.
Just needs to
Right.
just do the old heart test.
Okay.
She's like, it's good. Put it back.
You're all right now. You won't die
You're
from
good
it.
for a while.
50-50.
Yeah. All right. Did I miss anything in the episode that you guys want to talk about or touch on before we move on?
Okay, just the license plate on the
Oh,
yellow
yeah.
car. There's H36M4X. What do you think that means?
M4X.
And
Highway 36, mile 4, X marks the spot. I don't know.
wow. Okay, and then the blue car that Emma was driving furiously was Sylvia.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
license
which
plate
was
Who is
that?
Sylvia?
Was that... Because I'm assuming it wasn't Lily's car that they stole since Lily stole their car.
Right.
That's a clear name.
But
Yeah,
having
that was-
Sylvia on
that's
the
gonna
license
mean
plate...
something. They don't do things like that arbitrarily. I don't. think.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe she did have a daughter at one point, and her name was Sylvia. Lily, I mean, right now, but I don't know.
Lily Starla.
Lily Starla.
Every time they call her Lilith, I'm like, I think of Lilith Fair, and I'm like, is she the missing member of the Indigo Girls singing folk music? And
Maybe.
Anything else, Marissa?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm so worked up right now. I just gotta shout out to Swan Queen tonight.
Yes.
Emma, Regina, awesome pairing.
Awesome pairing. I love seeing them together. And I love
So
seeing
good.
them work positively together
Yes.
and complimenting each other, and Regina kind of being the good angel on Emma's shoulder tonight.
Yeah, but we also see like Regina at New York in the
yeah,
apartment.
she was-
She's like, "Come with me now."
she was not having it.
She was
Well, that's the
pissed.
great balance of those two. That's what makes that whole Swan Queen thing really work. It's like her strengths are the other's weakness.
Right, and it's like so Emma had her moment and Regina had her moment.
Yeah, which is why Emma can't go full darkness, because without Emma being light, which I mean she is the savior, so without the lightness of the savior, that throws off the balance of everyone, and it can affect more than just her. Like it will affect Regina, because we kind of see. Are you guys ready for predictions? Because we kind of see Regina,
no.
talking to the author like, I still like this picture shows me that I can have a happy ending. Yeah, sorry, Steven, I totally rushed over that. We're gonna go into
And
predictions.
now, your AfterBuzz TV
Prediction.
predictions.
So in the thing, a couple things I noticed in our preview, we see that Lily still wants revenge. She's talking to her mother like, what are we going to do to make the Charmings pay? We have Maleficent, who's a dragon, and chasing stuff and blowing fire, and we see snow fall down, and people try and jump in front, and we don't know what's going on there. We see Regina saying that she still wants her happy ending, and with the crumble up photo, like, this is a sign that it could still happen. So there's so much going on. What are the next steps, guys?
Well, I'm gonna just say here, and Zelena's gonna have a miscarriage. It was like, that baby is not going to exist, or if it does, they're gonna send it to another realm.
Okay. There's also talk, I love that you guys were talking about maybe the baby would then have to be the thing that offsets what they did
Yeah,
to...
I haven't quite fleshed out this theory yet, so it's going to be a little messy. but
But Robin and Zelena, no, you can't pair them together.
no, I don't. I would never. I would never. I just mean if the child is born, I'm seeing some sort of like, what if in order for Lily to be saved, so to speak, maybe this other child has to be sacrificed into the darkness, so that there's always like one. One perpetuating curse. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't fleshed it out yet, so it's messy.
I just think that Zelena's not actually pregnant. You can have false positives. She could tell Robin that she's pregnant and not actually be, because
That's true.
Regina lost her leverage
hope
over
so.
Rumple. So Rumple could have warned Zelena, at this point that she was coming, so she could have told Robin, oh my gosh, guess what, we're having a baby. And we don't know. I haven't seen what's it called, a sonogram.
Test.
Yeah, I haven't seen the P
I'm gonna
stick.
need to see that stick, honey.
I need a doctor down there with an ultrasound and just like verifying, like, do you hear the heartbeat? Yes, you do.
It just got so invasive.
That is when I will believe that Zelena is actually pregnant. Until then, I do not believe that she's actually pregnant, which means that she's just using it to keep Robin with her even longer, and so Regina will find a way to get the truth out.
Right.
They can be happy, and then Robin can get Regina pregnant. Like, that's what's
Like
supposed to
it's
happen.
supposed to be.
Like the world is supposed to work
Outlaw Queen.
forever.
Outlaw Queen. All right. Any other?
I think the author or whoever's going to be the next author is definitely going to right all the wrongs that has happened right off Zelena.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he is going to get control of that again. We're heading towards this.
My question is, okay, so we saw at the beginning of the episode, we saw the apprentice say whatever the author did, and he's now trapped in the book. Why couldn't the apprentice just take on the author role again, or like already appoint the next person?
There's got to be something with the sorcerer.
Or maybe it's just like one author at a time.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, because they were
Buffy, you can only have one Slayer at a time.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
because they still said that he was still the author. He's still in the book observing what's going on. And so then that made me think he's still writing the stories, but he doesn't have the ways to manipulate the stories anymore. So he can only write down what's happening, what he sees unfold. So he's still the author. That's why they didn't need to replace him. My bigger question is,
Well, just take away the ink and the quill.
But I feel like there's more to it. Once you're an author, like, you have to be killed or something. Like, you just, or you have it for like until you die type of thing.
Oh,
like,
and
you
then it
can't
has to
take
be
it away.
inherited.
Yeah, it has to be inherited that way. But the bigger question is, how long was the apprentice with Lily explaining all this stuff to her?
Yeah, that had to have taken weeks.
Well, and
Long bus trip.
and from there, did Lily go on to like live? Like, did he then take her in? Did she train with him? What happened after
There's a
the bus
big
ride?
question
Because
mark
there's
period.
a huge time gap in how her and Emma ended up living close by each other as adults, from Minnesota to Boston. Like, that doesn't happen often, you know, and to be that close to each other this whole time. So I just want to know what all Lily has been told, and if she's been trained in any sort of magical ways.
And also, we saw the apprentice on the bus trip saying that necklace isn't just some ordinary necklace. There's something with that necklace.
Yeah.
Something special.
What is it?
The star and the moon and
Star.
together. And
Right. Together, it's Mickey's hat.
Maybe it's a key to something.
Maybe.
All right, I have one more thing.
Okay.
I mean, it's so ridiculous to start something like 2 weeks before the season finale, but 2 honorable mentions. I'm calling this Once Upon a Weave. Tonight it's Twice Upon a Weave. Belle, hair on fleek.
Yes.
It just gets better every week. The swoop was giving me life. And honorable mention number 2, Twice Upon a Weave, Maleficent.
Yes.
I feel like whoever did Kate Blanchett's hair in Cinderella did Maleficent's hair in this night's episode because it was just on point.
It was on point.
Once Upon a Weave.
Once Upon a Weave. I love it. Our new special segment every week. Marissa, you have any final thoughts?
407 was on Robin's apartment number.
Oh.
What was that?
Still so good.
Zelena needs to. I don't want to say die. Just get out of the store.
I think
Evaporate.
you can say she needs to die because you already aborted her child. So
she needs to be vanquished.
Wait for it. She needs to melt.
Yeah,
again.
for good this time.
For good.
That's too much. We have to end on that button. That was too good.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you check us out on iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, all the social media places, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm sure there's a MySpace for us right now, too. Who knows? Where can everyone find you guys on social media to keep the conversation going?
You can find me shipping Outlaw Queen at Serafini TV.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Blake McIver.
And I'm at the Tiona Hobson, Hookers for Life, and we will see you guys next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.